Ah, I got one. This is a male smooth newt who's probably just arrived. Well, many species, but not all are in decline. But this pond used to support a population of about 10,000 toads. And as far as we can tell, in the last 5 years, they've gone. We don't know why. We think amphibians are good indicators because, like this newt, they have very thin skin, which they have to breathe through, so they'll be very much more susceptible to chemicals. They also produce eggs which are completely exposed to the outside world. They haven't got a shell, and their tadpoles are also very thin-skinned and small. So if there's anything out there, you would expect an amphibian to be affected by it. At the moment, we think there are about 5,500 species of amphibians on Earth, and about a third of those are in decline and maybe heading for extinction. And indeed, some have actually gone extinct. I think amphibians are telling us something important about what's going on. Where you've got habitat destruction, then it's no surprise that amphibians are in decline. But there are large parts of the world which have been established to protect biodiversity, the nature reserves like this one, which is very small, or great national parks, in the idea that those parts of the world, animals and plants, would be safe. And still the amphibians decline there. And that's being repeated all over the world, in South America, North America, Australia, Africa. So there's something happening to the whole of the world. You can't say we can have bits of the world for animals and bits of the world for humans. We have to take a global view of the world. We have to treat the world as one large system.
Mosé is our adult male chimp. He's about 20 now. We were traveling on a Congo River boat from Kinshasa to Kisangani, and he came on board with a hunter, and we bought him for $5 from this hunter who came on board, and not thinking too much about long-term consequences, but they started pretty fast in the sense that the moment he had my wife to hold on to, he wouldn't let go anymore. He is part of the family. So like when I go in this morning, he will come up and play. We roll around on the ground. He bites me, I bite him. You know, play biting, or he will wrestle me and push me around. And at the moment he's into magazines. I mean, he carries his magazines around all day. He asks for them, and you know, he has very specific magazines, very specific pictures he likes. And then in the evening we bring him in, and he watches TV for a while, and then the dinner arrives. I go outside and bring the dinner, and on my tray there's his plate and there's my plate. And, you know, then to some extent we share. I mean, if he likes something very much, he asks me for more of mine, and I might give him a few spoonfuls. We believe he has the same emotions as most humans do, and he has, for the last 10 years, been a daily reminder almost why I'm still in this business, in a sense that if we cannot do anything for these creatures, which have all these same emotions, then what can we do for the butterflies or the pangolins or all these things down the line from the chimps? So he has been a constant reminder for me, and as such a big motivator. The reason I became a conservation activist really has to do around bushmeat, meaning it was something which struck me as being very wrong, something the world needed to know, and that's something I felt I had an obligation to document. If we cannot protect a gorilla, which we all feel strongly about, which we know is our, you know, the chimp certainly is our closest animal relative, if we cannot protect them, what else, what can we protect?
There is a very strong agreement among leading biologists right around the world that we are into the opening phase of a mass extinction of species. No doubt at all about that. We are the only species in the whole history of the Earth that has the power to drive even one species extinct, and we may well end up driving maybe 5 million species extinct.
Species have always gone extinct. We no longer have the dinosaurs. But the rate at which species are going extinct now is 1,000 times greater than it would have been under natural circumstances.
The mass extinction that we're experiencing today is absolutely unprecedented in human history. humanity came onto the scene as a major force when Earth's diversity of life was at the highest ever in its entire history, and we're now wiping it out to the lowest point, you know, in many millions of years, most likely.
You don't just destroy a species one by one. What happens is you destroy a forest or a wetland or a lake or even an ocean. All of that habitat destruction is the single major cause of extinction.
What difference does it make if we lose all these plants and animals? What good do they do us anyway? Most of us have never seen them, don't know their names. We don't know what we're saying goodbye to.
La pérdida de una especie, ¿no? Significa, digamos que es como un eslabón, ¿no? Un eslabón que falta en esa cadena y esa cadena se desmorona, funciona ya de otra manera. Así resulta, claro, la pérdida, probablemente hay una serie de adaptaciones en ese ecosistema para evitar que esa pérdida tenga un factor muy negativo en todo el funcionamiento, ¿no? Pero cuando hay muchas pérdidas, todo se empieza a descabalgar, ¿no? Digamos que las actividades que producen problemas en uno y otro de los eslabones o de las cadenas, llega un momento en que son muy difíciles de reparar de una forma natural, ¿no? Desgraciadamente sabemos desequilibrar, ¿no? Pero equilibrar es una cosa muy compleja, que ha llevado miles y miles de años, ¿no? Nosotros no somos capaces. Luego, cuando se dice siempre eso de, bueno, pues ya los traeremos de otras poblaciones o ya volveremos a reforestar, eso no es tan fácil, no es tan fácil. Esos animales o esas plantas están ahí después de un proceso de selección extraordinario que ha durado muchos miles de años. Y están ahí por algo, porque el medio así lo ha determinado. El que desaparezca en un momento demasiado rápido por la intervención del hombre va a producir evidentemente unos problemas muy graves que ya estamos padeciendo, ¿no?
This mass extinction underway right now amounts to a biotic holocaust, not only because of the sheer numbers of species that we are driving extinct, but because of the impoverishment for the planetary ecosystem that arises from this mass extinction. You see, these species supply us with an awful lot of what we call environmental services.
There are a whole series of services which are provided by nature, that we're utterly dependent upon, that are not factored into economic equations, yet are exceptionally important. Indeed, they're essential. Life could not exist without them.
If we lose half of all mammals and birds, it'd be a great shame, but we could probably get by. But if we lose half of all insects, we shall be in a lot of trouble.
We depend on pollination services and other things, water purification services, flood control services, renewal of soil fertility. The loss of all of these basic elements of our life support systems is a potentially very dangerous thing.